Yeah, you're getting Christine for PM in the chat.
I'm not that slippery.
Well, you can create a new era of PMs, okay?
Yeah.
Loving Daniel Smith though, so I mean, hey, there is hope.
Well, I'm not giving her a break yet. Nope.
No, well, she's a politician, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there's some
Yeah.
hope there for me for sure.
Yeah, we're still waiting for her to help Sheila Lewis. So until she does that, she's in my shit list.
Yeah, well, we need to stand up for each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you stick around, and we'll see you on the 19th and potentially chat before that time.
Absolutely. I'll close off my camera, but I'll stick around till at least 10.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Okay. Now I know Maggie is here, and then I know Angela is here. Let's go for Maggie, then we'll jump over to Angela. Maggie, let me find Maggie because I have to unmute. There you go. You should be able to speak now, Maggie. Or you can speak, but now we can hear you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good to see you again.
Yes, you too.
Yeah, I got to meet Jane and yourself in Ottawa during the
We
inquiry.
met outside of the Public Order Emergency Commission. What was the guy you were with? What's his name again?
His name is Chris Deering.
Sorry. When I met you out front. What was his name?
Oh, I don't know.
I forgot his name. But yes. Please tell who you are and what you did.
Oh, yes, it was probably Justin, the Ottawa, my friend from Ottawa that
Yes.
Convoy. So always a reunion whenever we get together. So who I am, is that what you asked?
Yes.
Sorry, ask that again. Okay, so I'm Maggie. I was born in Canada. I actually lived in Papua New Guinea for the first 4 years of my life. When I came to Canada, I kind of had a bit of a culture shock into it, just realizing that something about our system was set up in a way that isn't compatible with true humanity. And from there, just my grandpa had he was in World War II, a veteran, and had a lot of things he did for Remembrance Day. And he was a really, really big on remembering what happened and remembering why they went. And so in college, I'll just go quickly through it. In college, I went down all the little rabbit holes with, climate change, the monetary system. That led me to look at international organizations and their effect on our sovereignty and our human rights. Then I had my first son and ran into the medical system and had a few experiences there that relate to what we're going through now that led me into more preventative alternative medicine. And that experience, because it affected my child, it got me pretty worked up. So I actually ran in the federal election in 2011 because, you can mess with me and that's one thing, but not with my kids. So, so from that, I ran for the Canadian Action Party, and
I ran for
so it was started by Paul Hellyer, and the main concern that we were looking at was monetary reform, sovereignty, and civil rights. So
what year was that?
That was in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
It was 97.
Wow. Yeah. So it's been around.
Is that when you got arrested on the stage, Jane?
No, that was for mayor. I was running for mayor. But
Good for
before
you.
I was running for MP.
Good for you. Well, good company.
Yeah.
And at that time, I also really, I knew the media swung a certain way, but I got to experience it personally. So that really opened my eyes to how they work. I also had a pretty deep spiritual experience at the time that I ran in that election. And after that, it woke me up to the fact that I was still pretty naive to what was really going on in the world behind the scenes here. And I kind of just dedicated the next 12 years of my life to raising my kids, and delving into just ancient wisdom, trying to understand what was really going on through the stream of time, and raising my kids in a way that I felt would give them and provide them a more true education model than what I received. So I actually learned most of what I know from homeschooling my kids, instead of being in the system. So at the time that Ottawa happened, obviously, I've always been a pretty find a solution kind of person. So by the time Ottawa happened, I had already found different communities I could go to should I have to leave my home, researched and acquired everything I needed to like survive with me and my kids. I was like genuinely very worried about the direction things were going, and are going. And I was really, at that time, really looking at how to leave Canada, how to get out of Canada. And that was one problem I could not find a solution for. And it was really bothering me and it was getting me down. So when the convoy happened, I was pretty much all in at that point. I remember going, and the first day I went to the convoy and seeing a man there. He looked like maybe he was from a Middle Eastern descent, I'd say, it doesn't matter. But he wasn't dressed for the weather. He looked cold, and he had this crinkled up sign, little cardboard sign. It looked like a homeless person, but I knew he wasn't a homeless person. But he just looked so sad, sitting on a step outside Metcalfe and Wellington. You know how there was that nice area where the Terry Fox was, and it just said, "Unvaccinated, deport me." And that's how I felt. I was like, if I can't like live in this country, I'd rather just be told to leave. Like, just let me leave. So when the convoy happened, I had so much hope to finally come together and find all these wonderful people that came from all over the country. And yeah, then on the last day, I was arrested after they had taken the streets with the trucks. And in my mind, like, they couldn't justify taking one more step further past that point. Like, if they wanted the trucks gone, they got them. We weren't going to set up tents in the streets and sleep there. Like, eventually we would go home. Like, we made our point, they made their point. They didn't have to keep pushing down the line and doing what they were doing. And it was about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I looked back and just saw just hundreds of people streaming slowly into the red zone, because it was hard to get in those last days. And just being kind of on the front line that whole morning, and like, it was the main streets were fairly wide. So once we were all on these side streets, like, you could really see our numbers, and everyone was just so beautiful and peaceful and articulate and lovely. And it just, something in me just turned a switch, and I just felt like I couldn't move any further at that point. And somebody happened to be there with the Bill of Rights, the whole stack of them. So I took a few copies and I put it down on the line. And I told the police that if they advanced, they'd be trampling on our Bill of Rights, our human rights, with their boots, literally and figuratively, and that I wasn't going to move. And the OPP line moved back, the riot police moved forward. I knelt down, and two wonderful men, I actually didn't know them at all, knelt down beside me, and we just kind of went through that riot line together, and came out the other side. Honestly, it was rough. Like, they stomped on, I don't know how they did it with Jeremy Glass was one of the others. I don't know the name of the other man that went through with me, but yeah, like, they stomped on my back. I at one point looked up, and there was a long rifle gun pointed at my head. I was in shock at the time. Like, so it didn't really faze me until like days after, when back pain.
That's called trauma.
Yeah, that's called like all of a sudden
Yeah.
days later, all I could feel was like my back hurting and just like this constant image
Yeah.
of this gun. And I was like, didn't know what to do with that for a while, to be honest. That was that narrowed my window of tolerance to stress. And in a way it helped me because I had a lot of bullshit kind of stress happening in my life that I really should have dealt with a long time ago. And I went ahead and did that. And then I guess I got going back to that day, like when I came up off the ground, when they handed me over to the police officer from Ottawa, the first thing he said to me, well, actually, like I looked back at where the charter was. I was just kind of looking back at the moment, and the Bill of Rights was just swirling in the wind like this up in one of those wind tunnels, right? And I just kind of dropped a tear, and the officer, he just looks at me and like jaw drops, and he's like, "You're gonna make me cry."
Good.
Yeah, and he said, "I want you to know, you guys won this today. The protesters proved that they were peaceful, and the truth will come out." And
Where was he from? Do you know?
he was from Ottawa. I actually did
Okay.
call and I got his name because I was curious about who he was, and I hope it, you know, I think we all saw that the police didn't. This wasn't a policing matter. This was a political matter.
100%.
So the police didn't know what to do with us. We weren't doing anything wrong, and it was really the government's responsibility to come and have a conversation with us. And the fact that they put this on the police is, and eventually they just had to call police in from all over, land them there the night before with no situational awareness and like this command blueprint. We're going to move forward. Because I know the people that when I went through the line, they weren't from Ontario. They were,
No.
you know, they weren't aware of the situation, but they probably have a lot of stress from this too, I would imagine. So I think the government's really creating a lot of trauma and stress on people, for sure. And then that led me to, I shared my story with a few people over the summer, and people kept asking me to share my story. And eventually, one of the lawyers from the commission called and took my statement, and that's how I ended up at the inquiry. And
Which lawyer called you?
that was Beth Sheba from Justice Center. So, and that yeah. So that's. But I'm really grateful for that experience because, and I wish that everyone could have had that experience, because it was my first time going back to Ottawa, and I had a lot of emotions in me from the convoy and from what happened there. And I remember just having an extra day before I actually had to go up and testify, and walking down the streets and just remembering all the memories. And I just let myself cry. I just let myself like weep in the streets of Ottawa, and go back to where it happened and just kneel down again and just really fully remember it. And then when I got to go on the stand and have an opportunity to speak, which I truly wish that everyone, I think, in that situation wishes that they could go back and say it differently and do it differently. But I did my best that I could at the time, and just trying to manage those emotions was what was really going on in my body on the stand there. And I.
So what's next for you, Maggie?
Pardon?
What's next for you? I know you got some stuff going on.
Yeah, so it's just made me feel so much better to have that. And so what's next for me? I seem to, well, afterwards, I started doing a few little mini speeches, one about my arrest story, because I thought people might want to hear it in a way, because it doesn't come out the right way during the inquiry. So just to put it more concise out there for people. And then I also felt inspired to do some little speeches about just the spirit behind the movement in general, because I really see that there's we're kind of being coordinated in a certain way, and all of us are kind of moving into the right places and just stepping in where we're needed. So so I've been doing some of that, just like maybe poetically trying to sort my thoughts out. But the first exciting project that I've been working on, it's called Freedom Blog 2023. And this is a way that other people can get their stories out. Because I know for me, it was such a healing experience to share my story. And I think a lot of us need to have that. And so this actually was started by, and the mastermind behind it is Jen from Convoy Live. She's done.
Yes. Oh my gosh. She is like so freaking, whippersnapper.
She's amazing. So she actually lives in my town, and we get to have ladies' nights. And
tell her I said hello.
Yes, I will. She's full of amazing ideas. She's a genius.
She really is. She's very smart.
Yes, and so I've been helping her to find writers for that blog, and I'm going to be writing an essay for it. But what will happen is every day that we were in Ottawa, an essay will come out on a certain subject of something that happened in Ottawa, a topic related to it, written by a different author from our movement, just from out of the woodwork of our movement. And then there'll be a full comment section so people can share their stories and their experience. And it's really a great way for us to archive the true experience and allow everyone to have their voice in it, and really encapsulate this for historical purposes. I think it's really important.
Yeah.
And from that.
Is it kicked off yet, or are you guys still in the works?
No, so the due date for the essays is January 15th, and then the first one will be released on January, is it 28th? Was the first day of the convoy, or 29th?
I think it was, what was it? Does anyone remember? I can go back and look, but
I have it in my notes. Sorry so much.
Here, let me see if I can.
And each essay will be attached to some of the video footage. So she's uploaded almost
28. It was the Friday, the 28th. Yep.
The 28th. Yes. Yeah. So there'll be video attached from the Convoy Live website. And if people don't know, they've uploaded almost 600 hours or more than 600 hours of footage onto this. And they're also back, like they're saving it. They're keeping it so that it's safe too, if anything happens to the website. And so that's that. That's Jen's project. For me, what I'm kind of doing is I seem to be able to, and might have a gift and for it, I'm not sure. I'm basically going to take a year off and just dedicate myself to the movement. And I'm not sure what that looks like right now, but I seem to be at this point just connecting with people and kind of connecting people to people, so that especially when it comes to projects that are solution oriented, like leading to solutions.
That's exactly, this is exactly what we need, right? It's like, let's address the problems. Absolutely. But that you follow up with here's the problem, and then here's a solution. I love that. That's beautiful. So how can people, is there a way for people to submit their stories right now?
Absolutely. If
they want
the
chat for people,
if they want to reach out, or I set up an email. If people want to reach out through email, I set up an extra email in case so it doesn't mix with things. Okay, so Maggie Hope Braun at gmail.com. And I can put it.
Maggie, sorry, can you spell that? Maggie.
Maggie. Yep. Hope, HOPE. Braun, BRAUN.
Yep.
At gmail.com.
Okay, I just put in the chat for everybody. So
Wonderful.
people can send you their story right now.
Well, I would reach
What are you
out.
looking for?
I would reach out to me first because there's a few topics and a
Okay.
few days that we still need to fill. So that's step number one. So, and then from there, everyone's going to get an opportunity to put their story in the comments.
Okay.
But if people want to reach out, specifically if they have ideas, if they've tried things and it's working, if they, and I'd like to be able to share that with people. I think you were talking about something like that at the beginning, that you're also doing this kind of work. So just promoting solutions, and if people have a project or an idea, like, and they need volunteers, I can maybe try and see if I can find them. So, or
Okay, great.
send them their way. So that's what I want to do.
Okay. So when does it go live and where can they find you?
Okay, so Jen's Freedom Blog 2023 goes live. Is that what you're referring
Yeah.
to? On January 28th.
And how can we find it when it goes live?
It'll be directly on Convoy Live.
Okay.
So if you go to Convoy Live,
It's
it will
.com, right?
be .com. Yeah, it'll be directly linked to that.
Yeah.
And I
Awesome.
recommend everyone go there and check out the videos. And if you have good videos, you can send that to Jen.
Sorry, January 28th. And is there a time?
I'm not sure of the time. No,
Okay.
no, we haven't gotten that far. First we need to make.
Let us know, Maggie. Let us
Yeah.
know, because we can also include, like, I would love to I do the emails on Fridays. So
Yeah.
I would love to include that. And I think this is, because I feel like there's a lot of, send us your stories or send us your experience, but it's going to like closed, it's going somewhere. But it's like, no, let's hear what people experience, because like, much like you, Maggie, like that was a life-changing experience for me. And it also was very sad and traumatizing at the end. But there's so much good that's come from that. And people have their own experiences that would happen with them. And I think that we can't forget that. We need to acknowledge the bad, but we need to celebrate the good, and we need to keep moving forward, because this isn't done yet. This isn't over.
No, this is just the beginning. And what was great about the Convoy is a lot of us were sitting at home like me. We got our stuff in order. We saw what was coming. We didn't know that there was another option. We just thought, oh my gosh, it's just me and a few other people that I'm talking to, and we know. But once we saw Ottawa, we knew how many good people were behind this. And I just fell in love with everyone there, to be honest, and see them as family. And now we're all connected, and it's like the network's growing and getting stronger, and we're starting to like set up so many important foundational steps are being taken to step into the next direction. I think things swing in a pendulum, and we're at the top at this point, and we're going to watch it go back if we can stay focused on the solutions. So
Yeah. Awesome. Great stuff. Listen, keep us posted.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jane.
thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you. And
Thank you.
congrats on your project. I'm looking forward to seeing it.